MS, chronic fatigue, autoimmune disorders. Do you know what these serious illnesses often have in common? The inability to say no in life's crucial moments. When you can't express your feelings or set boundaries, that suppressed emotion causes hidden stress. And that is when the body says no.
You know that feeling, right? When it just seems easier to say yes, even when every part of you is screaming no. Well, today we're going to dig into something fascinating. We're looking at the big ideas from Dr. Gabor Maté's book, When the Body Says No, and exploring this really deep and kind of hidden link between our emotional habits and our actual physical health. All right, let's get into it. So the book starts with this really moving story about a woman named Mary. And Mary, through a really tough childhood, basically learned to push down all of her own needs, her fears, her anger, just to take care of everyone else. She never really figured out how to stand up for herself or say what she was truly feeling. And this led Dr. Maté to ask this pretty haunting question. It's a question that honestly gets right to the heart of what we're talking about today. See, here's the core idea that no you swallow, it doesn't just disappear into thin air. Nope, it kind of morphs into this hidden chronic stress. And over time, all that internal pressure has to go somewhere. And often, it's our bodies that end up paying the price. Your body literally starts saying the no that your voice couldn't. And look, this isn't just some vague, fluffy idea. The source material points to some seriously specific health problems that Gabor Maté kept seeing in patients who always push down their emotions. This is the real, physical cost of being too nice. What's just incredible is how consistent this pattern was. Dr. Maté found that across a whole range of really serious conditions, we're talking MS, Crohn's disease, migraines, all sorts of autoimmune disorders, there was this one common thread. Almost none of his patients who had these illnesses had ever learned how to say no when it really counted. And here's the crucial part. It didn't matter if someone was a super successful, confident person on the outside, or if they were shy and withdrawn like Mary. On the inside, this pattern of suppressing their own emotional needs for other people was the constant underlying factor. It was like this hidden engine just driving the stress. Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the fix? Well, the book lays out this really powerful way of thinking about it, a framework for turning this whole pattern around. It's called the Triangle of Personal Power, and it's all about building a positive cycle for your own well-being. And you know, unlike the Bermuda Triangle, getting caught in this triangle is actually a really good thing. Think of it like three pillars that are all connected, all holding each other up. When you make one of them stronger, you automatically make the other two stronger too. It creates this amazing upward spiral of empowerment and health. So what are these three pillars? First up, you've got self-worth, that deep down belief that you have value. Second, there's assertiveness, which is just about standing up for your boundaries calmly and confidently. And third, the actual practical skill of saying no. Now let's see how they all work together. It all kicks off with self-worth. I mean, when you genuinely believe that you matter, that your time, your energy, your feelings are valuable, then protecting them stops feeling selfish. It starts feeling essential. You naturally get more assertive because you know you have something truly valuable to protect. And then, as you start acting more assertively, you're basically building a new kind of muscle. It's like a workout for your boundaries. Every single time you state what you need, it makes saying no the next time just a little bit easier. It becomes less of a big, scary confrontation and more of just a simple statement of fact. And this is where the triangle connects back and closes the loop. Every time you successfully say no to something you don't want to do, you send a super powerful message back to yourself. You're telling yourself, my needs matter, my limits are real, and they are valid. That action directly builds up your self-worth, and boom, the whole cycle gets stronger. So how do we actually do this? How do we get from the theory to real life? Well, it's not about suddenly saying no in some huge dramatic situation. It's a skill. And just like any skill, you build it with small, consistent practice. You're building your no muscle, one little rep at a time. Just think about those tiny little moments that happen every day. The book gives this perfect example. You ask for one thing at the grocery store, and they toss in something extra. The low-stakes practice is just to say, oh, thank you, but I actually didn't need that today. It feels small, but it's a rep. You just did one. Or here's another one. I'm sure we've all been there. You've already got the ride set up on the app, and the driver asks you to do something different just to make it easier for them. A simple, polite, I'd rather just stick with the app, thanks, is another small win for your boundaries. And of course, this applies to work too. You get that message at midnight about some work thing. For a lot of us, that's a huge boundary violation. But what if saying no doesn't have to be some big, immediate, confrontational reply? This is so important. A no can be an action, not just a word. You don't always have to say it out loud. Simply not answering that message until the next morning, that sets a powerful boundary. You're showing your work hours without saying anything. Then, the next day, you can just say, "Hey, saw your message. I usually turn off my work notifications after 8 p.m. So you start to see how this works, right? These small actions aren't just about little annoyances. They are the actual training ground for a healthier life. Each little no builds on the last one, creating this upward spiral towards the real goal, a body that doesn't have to fight your battles for you anymore. And here it is, the whole journey mapped out. This is that upward spiral to wellness. You start with these tiny little acts of setting boundaries. That builds your assertiveness, which in turn boosts your self-worth. And as your own personal power grows, that hidden chronic stress just starts to melt away. And when that happens, your body is finally free. It's free from the job of having to say no. It can finally say yes to just being healthy. So we'll end on this question. I want you to think about it. It doesn't have to be some big, dramatic thing. It can be small, it can be quiet, it can be just for you. But based on everything we've talked about, that one small act of honoring your own boundary, it could be one of the healthiest things you do all day.
All right, folks. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like. It really helps me out. Make sure to subscribe so you won't miss the next one. And leave me a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts and chat with you. See you in the next video. Take care.